Hello and welcome back to another video, and in today's video we're going moving some piles of bushes. We have 2 piles here and 2 piles down below there, and I know it's a bit windy so I don't know what the sound is going to be like, but those 4 piles of branches came off this tree here that I cut off there yesterday evening, and this tree fell down during the big red warning storm there in January, Storm Dara or Darren or whatever it was called, and I took the ditch along with it as well. So there's a better view the other side in the yard, but we're in the field. So I got the small chainsaw and I took off all the branches. There was a lot of branches on it, and it's now ready there just to be cut up. Some smaller bits, other big bits that can be cut up with the big chainsaw. The rest of it can be cut up with the small chainsaw. But while the weather is good, as you can tell, and the last couple of days or week has been fairly good and dry, so this field, our softest field, the Shroy, should be fairly okay to drive on. There's only 4 runs to do, 8 in total to go over and back with piles of branches and stuff. So hopefully the ground can keep. We do have a gate out that way, and we can cut through the yard and go up that way, or there is another gate down there which we can cut down that way, turn out and up into the wood, and it's the wood that we're going dumping these branches in. So we have our international, and we're going using our Bale splitter, as you can see. So we have used this method several times before, and there was a couple of videos on the channel about it as well. So we'll just lift up the knife back into the piles of branches, lower down the knife and secure it in place, and then off up the wood it'll go. And then when we have all the branches moved, there might be a few little bits here and there that didn't go on the Bale splitter or maybe fell off en route, which we can collect maybe with the 135 and transport box if needed. But fingers crossed, and I guess touch wood that we won't do too much ploughing and bogging. I did drive in this way to get into the field, and we did walk it yesterday evening as well, so hopefully it should be okay. But again, I'll keep going this way, and I won't drive on the same track. I'll make a new track every time I'm going, but if it's getting too soft and too sketchy, I'll just have to back up and go to plan B, which is go out that gate and cut through the farmyard. But yeah, anyways, enough chit chat. We've 4 piles of branches to move. Let's get at it. And that is basically it. It's sitting on the spikes, the prongs, and then we have the knife the whole way down, securing it as much in place. Now most likely than not, as I'm going up the field into the wood where I'm going dumping them, there might be a few stragglers that will fall off en route. But again, as I mentioned earlier in the video, if there's several of them, we can get the transport box in the 135 and just pick them up. So it's not really a big deal. But yeah, I didn't get in as far as I wanted to. You can see there's a bit of a gap here. I was hoping to get in a bit more further, but I have the knife down on them, squeezing them fairly tight, so hopefully that will hold them in place for the journey. So yeah, I better get to it. So I didn't lose any of them on the way. And as you seen there on that last clip, we dumped them up in the bog. But as I was coming out that gate, we're in the field that part the branches are in, there was one fairly soft spot and the back wheels went down, but luckily I got out. So what I might do now when I'm going into the field now is keep a bit more away from that soft section and see does it get better any bit in. And if that section is still soft, I might have to just reverse and cut through the yard and then through that gate here and then do it that way. So we'll see now once we get in the field here, is there a dry section that I can go over back and drive on a couple of times and then I won't have to cut through the farmyard itself. So just in that section there was a soft spot, so if I keep more up that way, I'm hoping it might be a little bit better, but it also might be a little bit worse. So we'll try it this one time just to see, and again if it doesn't work our way, we'll just have to cut through the farm whether we like it or not. And we're on the road again. So up there was the soft spot and I kept down a bit when I was coming in, and it seemed to be a little bit better ground. It's still not 100%. I'm still leaving small tracks, but they're not as deep and bad as the tracks I was leaving above there. So yeah, the field isn't 100% dry, but it's a lot drier than what it was a couple of weeks ago, I tell you. one more to go, and I don't think I've lost any stragglers or any bits of branches as I was moving them from the field to the wood. I don't think I lost any, not to my knowledge anyway, so we're doing pretty good. It's good going. Done and dusted. 4 piles of branches moved and out of the way. We wanted to get that done while the weather was dry, and has been dry for the last couple of days and maybe the last week or two, and the field has hardened up a lot more than what it was a couple of weeks ago. So because the only tractor we can use to move them sort of somewhat easily, rather than having to manually handle them again, because I had to obviously cut them and then manually handle them to put them into piles, and then rather than having to unload or load them into a box manually like the 135 and then go dump them and then unload that box manually again, it was a lot easier to use the International, which is the only International we can use on the Bale splitter, because it's the only one we have that has all the hydraulics and all that. So it was just easier for me to get the International, wait until good weather came, wait for the fields to dry up that a little bit, so that I could go in with the International, back in with the prongs and the Bale splitter, and then secure them in place with the blade or the knife on the Bale splitter. Just a lot easier, a lot handier. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. It'll take a couple of years for all that to rot down, but it's better to have them away, tucked away in the wood or in the bog where you're not going to be, rather than leave them in the field and wait for the grass to grow up through them, which is another thing. I also waited to cut, because obviously the storm came in January and knocked down that tree, so I wanted to wait until maybe the good weather came, because I knew that once I cut them I'd have to bring them away. You know, the branches, once I cut the branches and piled them, I had to bring them away as soon as possible. But the weather isn't all that great the last couple of weeks for grass growth, so the grass really isn't growing a whole lot, but it probably has grown a little bit in the last couple of days with the good weather and all that. So yeah, but I just wanted to wait for the good weather to come to dry up the land just to do that. And as you can see, there's quite a big pile there. So yeah, that is that. It's probably going to be a short video, this, not much happening, just moving some branches. But other than that, I think that's all that has to be done in today's video, and all that has to be said in today's video. So that's going to be the end of today's video. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out my merch, the link to that will be down in the description, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Take care.